Here's where the worldview of the Bible becomes a challenge if you are not a follower of Jesus. Because to use the word freedom with the word servant sounds like a contradiction of terms, but it's exactly where we find our freedom. So we exercise our freedom by having the ability given by God to submit to God through the entities, through the institutions, through the systems that God has established. And apparently our servanthood, our submission as bond servants, that's exactly what conveys a gospel that reflects the ultimate authority of the God of the Bible. That I'm going to say it again. In His sovereignty, in His authority, He has used it to come and dwell among us and to display His power through a life of service, which is what has been entrusted to us. Verse 17, just in case that is not clear on how He's developing this concept of dominion under submission, He basically says you need to honor all. You need to honor all. And the all reflects, once again, God's design, original plan that is reflected through a brand new worldview, which through the values of a forensic, agent, through a forensic worldview. This is, in other words, if you leave it up to us, we'll continue to abuse one another. But in this case, you got to begin with loving the brotherhood. And this concept of loving the brotherhood, because apparently these churches, they were facing internal problems and issues, the infiltration of false doctrine in a lot of these churches in the New Testament. And obviously we know historically that these churches are heading towards extreme persecution by the same government, systems. But here's the point. When he speaks of loving the brotherhood is not, and again, translate what I'm about to say, even into loving or submitting to the government, or in this case to church authorities, whatever the case may be, it does not imply that if we are to exercise or to reflect the unconditional love of God is not a synonym of unconditional relationships. In other words, when Peter describes the love for the brotherhood, there is nothing more loving than to have conditional relationships. There's going to be conditions. And what's the point? Here's the point. That as we love one another for the sake of exalting and proclaiming the divine authority of God. Implication that if in the context of marriage, in the context of parenting, in the context of church life or government life, anytime that anybody who is above us demands or asks for us to do something that violates the character of God, more than likely, here's the condition, we're going to be persecuted because we cannot negotiate the divine and supreme authority